Let's bring it in. Everybody bring it in. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to the Roundtable. We are so excited. We've actually got football back. We're in week 0. Next week, the University of Texas plays Ohio State, and we are going to bring everything we've got to you that time. But now we want to bring the guys together and get a sense of what their impression is going to be of the upcoming season. I've got 2 questions for them. Hopefully it will provoke some sort of conversation, maybe a little bit more focused than when we had before the show, but hopefully it will get something going. And the first thing that I really want to know from these guys is, what are you excited about? I've got Joe, Paul, Justin, and Ian. We've got Eric is going to be joining us. We've got some pre-tape of his reaction to this stuff, but I would love to hear, really in a general sense, this is an exciting season. Everybody is kind of locked in on what's going on with the Longhorns right now. What is one thing for you, Cookie, that you're excited to see, even with the possibilities going on this season? What are you looking forward to?
I'll let somebody else take that guy who's playing quarterback, but I'm really excited to see what it looks like when Texas has a potential first-round guy playing on the edge, rushing the passer, doing those types of things. Joseph Osai was great. All-American season in 2020, standout 2019. Just one of the best defensive players probably of that Tom Herman era. But Texas hasn't had that first-round type of defensive end talent in so long. And I feel like we may have kind of forgotten what it looks like to see something like that. I know RT wrote something about Jackson Jeffcoat, and Jackson Jeffcoat had a standout CFL career, and he was a first-team All-American, I think, in 2013. But just haven't seen those types of guys at Texas rushing the passer, playing that premium position, wearing number 1, doing it. And I can let Paul get into that. Yeah, there's a lot of fun with the quarterback position and the offense and stuff like that. But you're about to watch a guy who, Eric, I'm sure probably said the words Will Anderson a couple times when talking to you. He's talked about the sack record. Colin Simmons has talked about the sack record. I want to know what Kiki Deayala thinks about the sack record, but the fact that we're even throwing those words out is so exciting because of just how talented he is. Shows that the juice is worth the squeeze for all these types of motivated prospects who see themselves playing at a high level and shaking Roger Goodell's hand after a few years playing college football.
Well, let's stay on the defensive side of the ball, because I had the opportunity to talk to Eric a little bit, and he didn't specifically mention Will Anderson, but
I'm most excited to see the defense get some help from the offense and special teams. All too often they were hung out to dry last season. They did their best. I mean, they even held up against Georgia quite well. A lot of people said Texas didn't show up. No, the Texas offense and special teams didn't show up in that game. The Texas defense showed up pretty much every single game. And the games where they struggled, I guess you could say they struggled against Arizona State. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They were on the field for 90 plays. They just didn't get enough help. I'm excited about the defense getting help, and not only just help from special team, like I said, but the new punter is going to flip the field a lot. The defense is going to get the ball back for the offense. I think we're going to see a lot more complimentary football. So
you heard it here. Eric Nalin, managing editor at Inside Texas, is really excited about our punter. What are you excited about here, Paul?
I wanted to go hipster deep cut and go with Lance St. Louis as a deep snapper or some subtlety. Yeah. Arch Manning is playing for Texas, number 16. I don't know if you guys have heard any of that, but appears he has won the starting quarterback job. Steve Sarkisian has not officially announced it, so I guess we're going to wait. Inside Texas, we'll report on that. But yeah, I want to see Arch. I mean, just like everybody else. Sometimes there's the meme that Ian and I love of the super genius saying, I can't wait to see Arch. And then the dumb guy's like, I want to see Arch. And the guy in the middle is like, actually, what really is Arch is going to determine a lot about the upside and ceiling of this team. And I think I'm just excited to see him, because it's weird to consider this, guys, but Steve Sarkisian is entering year 5 at the University of Texas. He's done a phenomenal job. Have we seen Steve Sarkisian's offense yet?
Getting into mine.
And I think that's the question. It wasn't rhetorical, y'all were supposed to answer, but I'll carry on.
Well, I'll cut you off. I'll cut you off and give mine, which is
I'll go with Ian have that one.
It's basically it's Arch also, but I'm really curious to see what Sarkisian's offense looks like with this different skill set. Because Arch processes things a little differently than Quinn. He's a dual threat, which is very different from Quinn. And they also don't have the same tight ends that they've had the last couple of years. They have a lot of really talented tight ends, but they don't have the same guys that can block and do the skill sets are all very different in the middle of the field. And so I'm sure the underlying offense will be the same, but I think it's going to look very different because the anchors and the columns that he's building on are all very different. So that's going to be fun as a scheme nerd just to see how Sark dresses up the offense with these different component parts.
What are your thoughts on, because Eric did bring up the point, and I think this is a fair one. We look at last season, certainly the last 2 seasons, going to the playoff. It is, and because we think we've got Sarkisian at the helm, that the offense is just going to be absolutely humming. But, Eric brings up a really good point. It was the defense that really kept us in a lot of those games last year. And this might be one of the first years under the Sarkisian helm that we see proper complementary football. And to me, that is a pretty exciting proposition.
I agree. Like the defense is the staple of this program. It's going to be the staple of this season. I want to see complementary football too, but the Texas offense is going to have to step up their game because that defense has got about 2 years on them of experience, of more depth, of more just more talent in some aspects. So complementary would be great, but it's good to know that you can hang your hat on the defense, especially in this conference, and this defense is going to be just as good.
I think there's something to, no matter what the defense looks like, no matter what the offense looks like, we expect it to be pretty dang good, probably top 20 at least on both sides of the ball with a lot of room to grow up. But the fact that you have a play calling head coach who was a play calling head coach before he went through his own, personal problems and continues to be a play calling head coach in an era where the head coach has so much thrust upon him, and you still have that great defense and you still have those really good offenses. I think that's a good sign that Sark just knows what to do when it comes to building a full program, and then he just adds the play calling responsibilities on top of it. Even, you look around and you can see offensive and defensive play caller head coaches around college football just not finding the same amounts of success, consistent success that Sark has. And yet he's going into year 5. He hadn't had to change his defensive coordinator. He hadn't had to pass things off to a play caller so he can have a better view of the program. And we know what that really means whenever coaches say it. Like the fact that he is here at this point still has, for all the limitations, great offenses and now elite defenses. I think just shows that, he's more than just a one-trick pony type guy. I don't think any of us are accusing him of that, but he just gets what it takes to be a head coach, oversee a whole program, and by the way, calls plays.
So with that, Justin, let you round out this little segment here. What is it that this season you're most excited about?
Yeah, so all my colleagues have had wonderful answers, but I'm going to kind of side with Paul here a little bit. My journey's a little different than your guys. Okay. This started in 2022 when I made 9 commute trips to the city of New Orleans. Yeah. And so there was a reason for that. And it was, I have been waiting since then for next Saturday. I have been waiting over 3 years to see the Arch Manning experience. Yeah, we got a little dose of it last year, and we saw some good things, and we saw a few great things. You saw what we could expect. But, man, if there's any other answer than Arch Manning, I don't know what it is. Like, and it's not because of the national hype. It's not because of people knocking him because he played at a private school and he's got that last name, and why in the world would he be a 5-star? It's because you get emotionally invested in the recruitment and the family and the coaches, and you get to know them and you talk to them on a regular basis. I want to see all of that that's been building up for the last 3 years for me. I want to see what that looks like in Columbus. It's all Arch Manning. Now, there are certain aspects of this team. I want to see everything. I'm with Joe in one front. I want to see what this thing looks like. Last year, the pass rush looked pretty good. I can't imagine what it's going to look like this year. The D-line reloaded. I kind of want to see how they replace Jahdae Barron. I want to know how good if the running game can be good enough to make defenses honest and keep safeties up a little bit. Those are all factors. But if the answer's not Arch Manning, I don't know what we're doing here. This is something we have worked towards for 3 years, gathering info, going and seeing, doing all these different things. I'm just here. I want to see what Arch Manning looks like with the bullets flying in Columbus. He's the starter. There's nobody behind him that's going to take his job. That's just my personal thing. This has been a 3-year investment for me. It has to be Arch Manning. I was even thinking about this the other day. I'm so ready for football, but I'm even more ready to see what Arch Manning's like, because I know he's going to do well. I know he's going to take hits. I know he's going to throw picks. And I want to see what this roller coaster of the Manning is going to look like for the next 24 months at InsideTexas.com.
We've been waiting and hoping for the full DJ Campbell experience. To see that on those counters is something I'm really excited about. And having Neto on the other side there, just two guys that are known to be a little bit mean. Eric put out an article earlier about him talking to Selvin Young and maybe Neto getting some after the whistle penalties. I'm kind of okay with that. I miss having a Casey Studdard style, really just mean, nasty offensive line. And I think we've got some of the personalities in there to execute that. And it seems as if they're going to be scheming that way moving toward this year. So staying on the offensive side of the ball and seeing what that potential offensive line can bring, because that is a place for a lot of questions this year. What are they going to bring coming off of a heavily experienced unit last year? So for me, just kind of maybe splitting the gap a little bit between the Arch Manning and the long snapper, maybe having something a little bit more down the middle. I'll go with the offensive line. But I appreciate you guys bringing in your thoughts here. I want to hear from our sponsor. And then when we get back, we're just going to take a stab at guessing what we think the regular season record is going to be.
Hi, I want to tell you about Laura Baker. If you're looking for a new home in the 512, or even at this point, let's face it, 737 area code, there's only one number to call. That's Laura Baker at 512-784-0505. As a member of the elite Andy Allen team with Keller Williams, Laura has helped Longhorns find the home of their dreams in Central Texas. Just ask our resident sex symbol, Ian Boyd, who moved all the way from Michigan to Texas with Laura's help. Laura can help you find what you're looking for in the 512, the 737, or even parts of the 254 and the 210. Just, give her a call at 512-784-0505. Her email is in the description, as well as the rest of her contact details. She's a friend. Give her a call.
It's like watching Russ Cole. That's like watching Russ Cole go from like 2002 to 2012, but in reverse.
Yeah.
Without the natural light can.
Carving up the natural light can, exactly right.
Killing Reggie Ledoux. So, spoiler alert.
That was a righteous kill. I'll stand by it.
I just got done rewatching it, so
it's so good. I still have the DVDs, and I don't have many DVDs left, but I still have that one.
Hold on to that physical media, man. You're gonna want that.
Do you still have your Recruits in Review VHS tapes, Justin?
I do.
Oh wow! All right.
I still have my high school recruiting tape.
For
basketball, when I played basketball.
And is that just for like dates and stuff? You bring people over and pop that thing in, or how's that work?
Time is a flat
circle. I'm like, hey, y'all want to know what it looked like 40 years ago? We played half court. It was a peach basket, and I was dominant.
Dr. Naismith was right there watching.
Hey, I learned how to dribble from Bob Cousy. Y'all don't get it twisted.
Oh my God.
We had some news earlier this week about expanding the SEC regular season to 9 games, with that one caveat that, Joe, you pointed out in your article, that they need to be playing a Power 4 conference in that off game. Paul, you bring up a really good point with this of, if we're going to do this, we should do this with a really nice destination. You very much sounded like the guy that was forced to go to a destination wedding but didn't necessarily want to go. So at least let's go someplace cool. Really quick, and I know this is a little bit off topic, but knowing before we get into what our predictions are going to be here for this regular season, for next regular season, if we could choose a destination wedding, as it were, where would you guys want to go see Texas play? And I know you've spent hours thinking about this, Paul. Where would you love to see Texas play a destination game next year?
I would play a small Northeastern liberal arts college like Bowdoin
like
or
Bard?
Wellesley, and I would play them on a carnival cruise because I want the contrast.
Sure.
Of the patrician aristocracy and the common people.
A lot of infinity scarves.
You're going to infinity scarves and then, fashionable opinions next to the Ian Boyds of the world who just can't wait for the buffet and to, to go to the comedian at that night and laugh.
All inclusive, Paul.
All inclusive. You get like hee-haw jokes and stuff like that. So
shrimp cocktail.
That's right.
So
every Tuesday you dine with the Admiral. Did you know that?
The Admiral of the whole Carnival Cruise fleet is on your ship.
I've never done a cruise, and I've never done a Carnival cruise.
It shows. It's pretty.
It does show. I would love to just basically pick. Joe nailed it. Joe had a post on Inside Texas, which if you're not a part of, you're missing out on the best Longhorn conversation there is. Joe had a post basically saying, hey, just pick cool destinations. You want to go hit Chicago in late September, early September, go take in a Cubs game, go take in the city when it's actually really beautiful and everyone's in a great mood. Let's go play Northwestern, right? Stanford and Cal must feel like the bells of the ball right now, guys, because every SEC team is trying to schedule a home and home with those guys. You're going to get a W and you're going to get a nice little trip for your alums. So I think that's how we should look at it. I think sometimes people miss the boat a little bit and they'll just randomly say, we should play Illinois. And it's like, well, no, that's not really what we're trying to do. You either want a marquee game, you want the Notre Dame home and home, or you want to just pick a win. That's a fun destination. Now, I am actually amenable and open to the 2-1 home split with a G5. Okay. So you could go get a Nevada and say, you come to us twice, we'll go to you once. We get to go hit Lake Tahoe and the casinos and Reno and all that. And we don't have to pay them for those 2 trips to Austin, right? We don't have to cut them a $1.5 million check, which is the standard sort of fee. So I'm open to that. And you're not at any risk playing at Nevada's home field. It'll be more Texas fans than Wolfpack fans. So no offense, Jeff Choate. You're doing a good job out there.
Are you going to leave any good options for anybody else?
Yes, he forgot the number one. Oh, the number one is UCLA. You go play a weak-ish power program, and hey,
Justin, rebut this man.
No, I know what he's going to say, but
he knows exactly what he's going to say because he put that little disclaimer in that private chat.
Yeah, that's not a power conference.
But Paul brought up the G4. But Paul brought up G5, so now I get to do mine.
Oh, are you going to do San Diego State, Justin?
No. Even better.
He's going to do UT Tyler. Are you doing Sam Houston State?
Guys,
nice this time
where did Ricky play his rookie year, his freshman year? If we don't have a home and home with Hawaii, what are we doing here?
Dude, it screws up your whole September, though.
Yeah, in a good way. Extra females, lots of fun, some Mai Tais. Yeah, that's a good way to screw up a September.
Mai Tais in Hawaii, that's not.
I've never been. That's why
I could tell.
You haven't been on a Carnival cruise. I haven't been this side of San Diego, so I don't know.
All right. Here's the deal, though, Justin. Because we're going to go to this 9-game SEC schedule, and they want the ratings boost, because the most interest, we're all yearning for college football. Week 0, week 1 has epic
so
matchups.
There's a rating boost caveat. Okay.
They are going to put SEC games that matter in week 1. We're going to open at Florida 1 year, at Auburn, at Alabama, mark it down. If the next week you go to Hawaii, you might screw up, or even the week before. Coaches hate all that, like getting off schedule. Is it good for the fans? 100%. But everything else, that's the only box next.
Wait until you see Class of 32, Timmy Chang's son. Like, look, these guys they're cycling back. Okay. When Colt Brennan's nephew is calling plays, I'm telling you, this thing's going to take off again. And I'm not surprised June Jones won't be back. But yeah, Hawaii. And here's just real quick with Illinois. Some of us can't go back to Champaign. So
some legal issues.
That. Some of us aren't allowed in that county anymore.
Justin has been in several Champaign rooms.
Sure.
Not the city of Champaign. Is
Only
that accurate?
With Paul's credit card.
That's right. I was wondering why that showed up on my Amex.
I still have a bunch of close friends in Michigan, so I'll always want to go to Ann Arbor. I'm sure others probably don't need to go there that often, but maybe like it's really great to play these like northern locale teams because when it's at their house, you get to be in a nice weather, early fall. Maybe see some like maybe in the Pacific Northwest, Northern California, some of the Midwest places. I think Madison is a pretty nice town to visit for a weekend.
And can I sell you guys on Boston College in late September, maybe?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't have to sell me.
And then when
Joe and I are going to go catch a game at Fenway.
When they come down to Austin, they're like totally discombobulated. Their fans are passing out. Their team's never played in that kind of heat before. So it's a win-win.
They turn off the air conditioner in LSU's locker room.
All right, guys, moving on to Texas's regular season. I'm going to go ahead and give you, just because he's not here to defend himself, I think it's only appropriate that I give you Eric's prediction first.
For the third year in a row, I'm going to predict 11-1. And, I feel about as confident in it as I did the previous 2 years, but we'll see. Football is funny.
11-1, Paul. That's evoking some giggles.
He has the same. I mean, 11-1's fully within the bell curve of probabilities, but he has the same prediction every year. He said the last 3. He's been doing that for. I think he's had that prediction since 2004, like since I've known Eric. So it is
even
fun.
2016.
Yes.
I mean, unbelievable. Yes, yeah.
Or 2014 would be the right
Tyrone Swoops. Don't let him tell you differently.
That's right. Yeah, that's within the bell curve. I'm sorry I laughed. I didn't mean to.
No, it's what it's here for.
All of our picks are equally valid. No, I mean, I do think that there's probably we're probably all within a bell curve of probabilities, right? And it's how the cookie crumbles, right? It's injuries, it's bad luck, it's weather, it's football, the ball's oblong. You guys know all the cliches. So I just, there probably isn't a bad, there's a really valid argument you could make that we go 12-0.
Sure. I
think there's a valid argument on the other side of probabilities that we go 9-3 because we lose a couple of close ones because of an injury, right? So, I'm anxious to hear what my colleagues think because we've digested a lot of data, and I'm interested to hear how you guys have decided to crunch it and come out with a prediction.
Well, let's make it official, Joe. This is it. This is going to be on the interwebs forever. What is your prediction for the 2025-2026 regular season for the University of Texas?
I'll hit 10-2. I think, unfortunately, those two losses are going to be conference losses. Who knows if that keeps them out of the conference title game, but that doesn't keep you out of the playoff. Just look at Tennessee, especially if you are 10-2. I think they win at Ohio State. I think the Buckeyes, just even with Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, still have a lot to replace. And Texas can walk into a noon environment, a little bit different environment than one that was going on 20 years ago, win that game. But that October is going to be tough. You go from Florida to Oklahoma to just not being at home, taking its toll. You finally get home in November to play Vanderbilt. You get a break. And then, you got to go to Athens. Like, I see 2 losses somewhere in there. Not to Arkansas, not to Texas A&M, not to Kentucky, not to Mississippi State, not to Vanderbilt, but Florida, Oklahoma, Georgia. Like, 1-2 is not bad there, but it's not optimal. But it still gets you in the playoffs. It may still get you a home game, which we saw is very entertaining last year. And who knows? If you get that home game, you can go on a run to the national championship. It's not going to be easy, but I just see a win in week 1 against Ohio State. And I just see all the body blow theory part of the SEC schedule, especially over the course of October, with them not being at home, taking its toll enough to cause a couple slip ups and deal 2 losses. But hey, Mac Brown celebrates double-digit win season.
We'll go to you, Justin. Where do you land on this?
I was thinking 9-3, and then I just listened to Joe Cook, and I'm a Joe Cook fan. I think it's 10-2. I do think they beat Ohio State. I do think not being at home for almost 2 months, 2.5 months, it seems like, that's going to wear on guys, but at the end of the day, it's going through a tough schedule. No one's going undefeated this year, which I think is awesome in college football because it's ultimate parity. Like, we don't, in the past, we've kind of known, well, Alabama is going in with they're the prohibitive favorite, and then Georgia for a couple of years. This year, I don't think there is one. I think there's 5 or 6 teams that could easily win the national title. Ian's going to tell you Clemson's going to win it, and he's got a valid argument. There's some real talent on both sides of that football. But I think 10-2 is palatable. 12-0 is just going to be tough, especially with replacing as much as they did on offense. Defensively, I think this team has a 12-0 mindset. I think they have the ability to back their guys 12-0. It's the offense, which is probably, in theory, like Ian has talked about, the bigger year is going to be 2026. They're probably going to be better when they return virtually everybody on that side of the ball. But you're going to get dinged up. Somebody's going to get you. Listen, Florida is going to be tricky. They play. I know it was pretty much a blowout last year in Austin. That was one of the best teams I saw last year. Like, athletically, you could see they had guys. And people don't remember, Florida actually ran the ball well on Texas, which no one else really did that last season. And so I'm going to stick with 10-2, and I'm very, very curious what my man Mr. Boyd thinks.
We'll go over to you, Mr. Boyd.
For the record, I picked Alabama to beat Clemson in the national championship game.
This year?
Yeah.
With Ty Simpson?
Damn. Justin's almost going 9-3. I'm getting all this hate from Texas fans.
But I'm not saying Ty Simpson's a winner either.
Dope Ian.
You're hitching your wagons to that guy?
Contrarian.
It's just one guy on an 85-man roster.
When he's on DeBoer and Ryan Grubb's joystick, then I feel pretty good about it.
Excuse me?
Oh, he's talking about video game joysticks.
Got it. Thank you.
Got it.
This time.
Oh, you're really derailed that. I'm going to go 10-2 for Texas as well. I go back and forth between that and 9-3. I think they're going to slip into the playoffs. I think that Georgia game is going to be like a de facto play-in game. And Sark gets the bye week beforehand, and he's been just festering on last year's embarrassments to Georgia, and has just committed himself to payback against Kirby Smart. So I think Texas wins that game. Playoffs, I don't see a national championship. Obviously, I picked Alabama.
I want to hear, we'll let Paul wrap this up. I think where I'm landing on this is I'll go ahead and have the courage to say 9-3, and it's for all the reasons that have been pointed out. My concern is depth on the offensive line. We are at a razor's edge right there. The college football season is longer than it has been. I think what Joe pointed out, that away schedule is not conducive to proper recovery, and I'm just a little bit concerned, honestly, about that particular room's depth. I think the talent is there. There's a lot of youth there that I think is really positive. I think we're going to be watching every snap that Trevor Gooseby makes with a little bit of a bated breath, just to make sure that he stays fit and healthy throughout this season. But I do think, given the travel, given the length of the season, and certainly the emergence of Florida, puts us in an area where we might be landing at 9-3. So I will go ahead and take all the hate from the internet for that, but I'll let you wrap this one up, Paul.
All right, we got 9-3 at the bottom. We got 11-1 at the top, and then we got 3 lukewarm 10-2s. I'm gonna dip my toe in, and I'm gonna join the lukewarm group. Yeah, I'm 10-2. I think that's the fat part of the bell curve for the season, even with injuries, even maybe with some setbacks. I do think this team has enough depth in some areas, and I think that we play enough defense. And frankly, if Arch can stay healthy, I think we've got enough that we can win, even with some O-line setbacks. I wish we'd addressed that a little more in the offseason, but hey, that's something we can look forward to for next year. And it's an opportunity for some guys to emerge. We have had guys in the past that we weren't counting on, and that's one of the fun reasons you play the season. Guys can show up and come up big in these big seasons and these big moments, and you can't win a national title without it, right?
Yep.
Here's the other thing. 10-2 may feel like a disappointment to some people who are very rosy. Ohio State won the national title. The whole key to the game here is to make the playoff and be playing your best football at the end of the season. A 10-2 Texas could very easily not only play in the SEC title game and advance their position with a win, but they could also be the 5 seed in the playoff. I broke down the playoffs and some of the implications of the new seeding and all that stuff. Being a 5 seed is still a pretty good deal. It's still a pretty good deal. You've got some good matchups in your first game. You're going to play that G5 entrant, right? And then you're going to play the weakest of the 4 seeds. Often that number 4 seed is the empty vessel that's been propped up by schedule all year or lucky breaks. And they kind of get it there because their record's 11-1, right? But you kind of know that there's a team quality.
Indiana.
Or a Notre Dame maybe this year, right?
Or maybe 2014 Florida State.
Notre Dame's going to be good, but yeah.
There you go. So I like that path for us as well. And if we're playing well, it doesn't really matter. Like you're right. And that's the mindset as college football seasons we have to shift. And we still haven't fully done it yet. We think any in-season loss is an incredible disaster. We're not going to go to the Rose Bowl now. And it's like, no, we're not doing that anymore. We're trying to make a playoff. You want to be playing your best ball at the end of the year. If Arch is even questionable, his ankle's a little gimpy. This is a world now where you hold him out. Yeah. And you say, yeah, we might eat a loss, but we're going to get him ready for the playoff. So, that's kind of the world we're in now. And I like Texas. We'll see how we do in the postseason because that's what this is about.
Thank you all so much for joining us. We want to let you know a little bit of some programming stuff going on. We want you to join us live. We are going to be celebrating the 40th anniversary of Inside Texas. Starting on Tuesday, August 26th, we're going to be getting ready for the season. Meet us at Big City Wings. That's going to be at 7620 Katy Freeway. That's at Suite 460 in Houston. Then we're going to be going over to the Katy Icehouse and then over at Little Woodrow's off Burnet on August 28th. We're going to be pumping this pretty heavy this week because we really want to get out there and see you guys. And for all of the information, everything that I love to get ready for the season comes from our very own Paul Wadlington, and that is Inside Tech, or rather the 2025 football prospectus, the Longhorn football prospectus, which is Thinking Texas Football. The link will be in the description. Please go ahead and get that. I think there is a misconception that once the football season starts, you don't need this book, and that is, it's a fallacy. It's just wrong. And then join us over at Inside Texas. You get 1 week for $1 American dollar. That's going to get you ready for the season. Obviously, we've got a massive week coming up. For all the guys here, I really want to thank you for taking the time and meeting with us. This is going to be your prediction show for the remainder of the season. We're going to come back to you next week with prep for Ohio State. But until then, thanks so much, guys. We really appreciate you being here.